take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. It's time!
It's Sunday, October 2nd, 2022. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 138, the Dern versus Jan recap show. After that, we jump to some MMA news, but this upcoming Saturday, no fight card. The UFC is taking a week off. But before we talk about all that, Tabor, where do we begin?
With the social media accounts, Mason, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at the Church of MMA. Guys, it is all the same. You're posting funny memes. You're trying to make you guys laugh. A lot of funny content and other informational content, KO knockouts, a bunch of different stuff like that. Make sure you're following us if you're not already. Make sure you do it, man, because it really helps us out. Also, guys, obviously we are live on YouTube right now. We are also live on Rumble. So if you like other alternative platforms, check out our Rumble. Go like and subscribe over there. We're trying to really build that up just in case. You never know what could happen here in the future. So go to our Rumble. We are also live on Rumble. We are also live on Twitter. We are also live on Twitch, guys. We have a Twitch at the Church of MMA. Guys, we might go live there and play some video games as well, so make sure you check us out. Like, if you guys want to just hop in the chat while it's like, say I'm playing Warzone or something like that, we just bullshit about UFC fights, we bullshit about life, about other stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So make sure you guys check all of that stuff out. Also, guys, we do have a member section. $2.99 a month gives you exclusive content, exclusive badges by your name, and exclusive fonts for your chats. Guys, we also have exclusive emojis you can get. You can get my face, Mason's beautiful face, Joe Rogan, John Jones, and I think Dana White as well. And if we get more members, we'll add more and more. Mason teased on the Fight Companion last night. There are a lot of changes coming to the podcast, guys. We're probably going to rebrand and do a bunch of different stuff. We will be announcing more and more about that very soon. Definitely by the first episode of 2023, we will have a completely new setup, new stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to get all of that ready for you guys. So make sure you check us all out there. YouTube shorts, guys. We're posting a lot of shorts. Some of them are going off. Guys, we need your help. Share those shorts on your social media accounts, guys. It really helps us out. It really pushes us in the algorithm. Steal your girlfriend's phone. Make sure they're subscribed down below to the channel. Let's get to... The goal was 1,500 by the end of the year. We hit that. We hit that, baby. Let's go. So now the new goal is let's get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's a big jump. It's a big jump, guys. We're really going to need your help. So you need to share the podcast. You need to take other people's phones and subscribe. You need to tell all your friends about the show. It's possible, guys. It could happen. Help us out. Help us with the YouTube algorithm. Share it on your social media accounts. If we hit 5,000 subscribers, Mason has agreed to box Francis Ngannou.
I'm coming for you, Ngannou. Yeah, no. Bro, I ain't scared of that boy. Seriously, mediocre puncher. And I don't know if you guys know, I got hands of steel. And I am not Jeff Neal, let me tell you. But yeah, I will box Francis Ngannou if we hit 5,000 subs by the end of the year. That is guaranteed. Sign the dotted line. I'll do it for no pay because nothing would make me happier than defeating the heavyweight champion of the world and not getting paid to do it. So,
guys, if and Mason also agreed, if you can hit us to 2,500 subs by the end of the year, if we don't hit that 5,000, he will kickbox Andrew Tate.
Oh, I'll take Top G for sure. No problem. I'll knock that guy out. It's so easy, dude. It's so crazy. I am one of the toughest dudes around. So.
I can't wait 10 years from now when this video resurfaces and
they
both come up
serious.
to your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually
Ngannou and Tate walk up to me simultaneously.
Yeah, the podcast is going to blow up. We're going to be in Romania at Tate's compound fucking partying with the Tate brothers. And then all of a sudden,
they're going to pull up
he's going to pull that video. Hey, remember when you said you were going to fight me, motherfucker? And then he just knocks you out live right on YouTube.
That's a deep fake. Let me tell you, Tate. That's deep fake. That's a psyop, dude. I'm telling you right now. they messed around. That wasn't me. It wasn't Tate. It wasn't me, dude. I mean, we're bros, man.
Tate, I love
great
you.
value G. You're top G. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. We're friends. What are we doing here?
Good times. Yeah, guys. Mason also started a YouTube channel. I am Mason Knight, or is it just Mason Knight on YouTube?
Yeah, it's just Mason Knight. But yeah, I'll drop my little thing there. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok. I am Mason Knight on all social platforms.
Yeah. Guys,
Shameless plug.
If you want to follow my Instagram, it is personal. You need to send me a DM. My DMs are open. Say, hey, this is, Cosmo Reverb or whatever from the channel, and I will let you follow my personal Instagram. But as of right now, it is private. So, guys, we had a lot of fun last night. We did do a Fight Companion. Shout out to Jimmy. Shout out to Matt Woodage. He came on very late. Very unprofessional.
Yes,
Wood speaking to the mic.
Yeah. We bring on all sorts of people from all walks of life. It was a good time, though. It was good seeing him. I hadn't seen Woodage in a couple years. We had our 10-year high school reunion last night, and it's just like, it's so crazy how fast time flies by.
Right.
But it was really cool to see everyone there, man, because I hadn't seen a lot of those people in like 10 years. So shout out to everyone who's there.
Shout out to Jared Williams. He was talking to me about the podcast last night. He said he actually watches. Definitely going to try to get him on a Fight Companion here one day. It'd be very fun. We're also going to have more people that we knew from our past on the Fight Companion. Look for UFC 280. That Fight Companion is going to be fucking fire. It's going to be absolutely incredible.
It's going to be great, man. We got a good lineup there. We got Morgan and Cash and Jimmy, Tabor and me. It's going to Devin. It's going to be a good time.
It's absolutely.
I actually low-key can't make that one, but I have a replacement, so.
It's fine. I'll run the board. Either way, it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Make sure you're subscribed so you get all the notifications. If you haven't hit the notification bell as well, make sure you do that so you know when we're going live. We go live every Sunday, obviously, but we also go live for Fight Companions Saturday. We will announce all that ahead of time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun last night. The great fights overall. The card was pretty fucking good, I'd say. Even though it was pretty like a low-profile card. I don't think a lot of people really cared about that card too much, but I had fun watching it.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, I thought the main event was really good. I thought both Dern and Jan came out and had a great 5-round performance on both sides. It was really fun. It was back and forth. He didn't know who was going to squeak out that win. You know, the card all the way down was great. So, yeah, I guess we can start at the top.
Yeah, let's start at the top as we always do. Dern versus Jan, recap right now. So, it was a very, very competitive fight. Like you're saying, it was very back and forth. When Dern was on top, it was very dominant performance by her. But, I mean, she was really struggling to get the takedowns there. Yeah. But when they happened, she was not letting Jan back up. But Jan was stuffing takedowns at first. Jan was landing big, giant punches. I think one of the biggest things with Dern right now is she is an elite fighter in this division. I do believe she could be a top 5 girl, could definitely be a title challenger one day, and definitely even be champ. Her jiu-jitsu is that elite. But, I mean, her stand-up, it's still a little sus, I would say, because, like, she was really putting her chin out there for Jan, and Jan was cracking her with giant fucking punches. Yep. But Dern almost needed to do that because I think she needed to get Jan's respect. She had zero respect for Dern's striking game last night.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, the one thing with Mackenzie Dern, she's a tough girl, dude. I mean, we cannot say anything elsewise, but one thing with her is she does get hit a lot. I noticed her chin's up quite a bit, and Jan was just tagging her with a lot of big shots. To Dern's, respect, though, she was firing back. She looked good as well. But, I mean, dude, holy crap. The jiu-jitsu and how hats off to Jan Zalman, too. I mean, the way she was able to defend those multiple submission attempts, it was very hard for her to get back to her feet. But just to be able to defend against those submissions, against someone as elite as Mackenzie Dern on the ground was really, really impressive. I want to talk a little bit about that 5th round, though, because in my personal opinion, I would have been okay if this fight was a draw. Jan Zalman won 3 rounds, but I thought that 5th round was a 10-8. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Did you think that was a 10-8? Because Mackenzie Dern had, 120-something strikes on the ground in that round.
In just that round alone?
In just that round. And Jan had...
Holy shit.
Jan had, that last 15 seconds where Dern was trying to pull a submission, an arm bar, and then she got out and threw a couple punches. But, man, I really thought that was a 10-8. And one judge actually had it a 10-8. He had it a draw. Jan Zalman won by majority decision here, but one judge had it 47-47. What are your thoughts, Tabor?
Yeah, that 5th round was so fucking close, dude. I could see the 10-8. One judge had it a 10-8. One judge had it a draw. I mean, I could definitely see the draw. I almost would agree with that. I mean, if that's not a 10-8, like, what is? Like, she was on the ground smashing her. Like, she almost got the finish a couple times. Jan was surviving, but Jan was doing nothing to get back to her feet. Jan was just eating those punches and then survived till the end. So, I mean, if that's not a 10-8, I don't really know what is.
Right. Yeah.
It's very strange.
It was a little confusing to me. I do think the whatever judge had it 10-8 scored that fight correctly.
That would be Judge Mike Bell.
Mike Bell.
That. I mean, it wasn't Sal?
Makes sense.
Sal scored it for Jan, 47-48.
Mm-hmm. What do you give that 5th round? 10-9, obviously?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
He gave the, if you're interested, he gave Jan the 1st round, Dern the 2nd round, Jan the 3rd and 4th round, and then Dern the 5th round.
Okay, actually,
I would agree with that.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I mean, that's right. And, like, he did get it right. Overall, I mean, the 5th, I'm not going to get on Sal for that because, 10-8's very subjective. It's just like you don't really know. So I'm not going to be mad at Sal for that. Not for just a little clip that we can throw up on TikTok.
Sure?
Overall, yeah, because overall he made the right decision. I think that 10-8, it's kind of open-ended. Some judges do it, some judges don't, and it's kind of more of a risk to do that. So it is what it is. You know, Jan won majority decision. Had I judged it, it would have been 47-47, but it is what it is.
It is. Jan won the 4th round decisively? Or did you get a chance to rewatch that?
Yeah, I know. Jan definitely won the 4th round.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I definitely
100%.
had Jan up 3-1 coming into that 5th. It's just, is it a 10-8? I don't know. Like, it's just tough. 10-8s are like unicorns. They just don't give them out.
Right. And that's why, like, I'm fine with this decision ultimately. But I'm also not mad at the judge who did give it a draw because I thought it was a 10-8. So, you know, it is what it is. It was a good fight nonetheless. A really good main event, too. It was exactly how we thought it was going to go down, you know. We said Jan obviously would have the advantage on the feet, and then Mackenzie Dern advantage on the ground, and it was just back and forth, you know. Every other round, one round it was stand and bang, and these girls were throwing, and Jan was catching Mackenzie Dern more, and then the next round, Mackenzie would get a takedown, or she would get her back, and then she would implement that jiu-jitsu and that top pressure and the wrestling, and they'd go back to the 3rd round, Jan, you know, throwing the strikes and whatnot. So it was a great fight overall, really enjoyed it. And anything else on this?
No, it was an absolutely fantastic main event. I really did enjoy it. I had a lot of fun watching that last night, and obviously we had a lot of fun on the Fight Companion too. Just bullshitting back and forth. It was a good fight, man.
A lot of food talk.
I'm happy with that fight. Like even though like a lot of people like even Matt last night was like, I'd be happier if it was dudes fighting. Some people say that shit, and it's like, dude, like you can't look at a fight like that and not be happy with that main event. Like that was a fantastic matchup. So shout out.
At the same time, the guy has not watched a UFC event since
UFC 100. He's like, yeah, that was the last UFC I watched
15 years ago.
Like, okay.
You know?
Yeah, so I get it, but shout out to the matchmakers because that was a fantastic fucking matchup last night.
This is the type of fight I want to see that is a title fight. So I think it was a good fight.
Yeah, it was definitely a good fight. But yeah, we can move on to church coin bets. Or real quick before we even do that, let's talk about who does Jan face next because I mean, like everyone I think above her is booked out right now. I mean, Jan did just defeat Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern was 5. I mean, other than Jessica Andrade and Rose, like, do you want to see Jan versus Rose? Do you want to see Jan versus Jessica Andrade?
I think Andrade would be better than Rose at this point. I think Rose is probably going to fight the winner of the Rodriguez fight. So.
Yeah, I get that.
That's my guess.
I don't know. If Marina Rodriguez wins that fight, I almost say she just should get a title shot. Like, what more does this woman have to do? Like, she's been on our radar for a very long time.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Well, who is Marina Rodriguez matched up against right now? Does she have a opponent?
It's Lemos. So she's fighting way down, number 8.
Yeah, which is so surprising because, I mean, she beat, Zanon. She beat Mackenzie Dern.
I thought they were going to give her the title shot over Zhang.
Yeah. So it is a little bit surprising here. However, yeah, you know what? If she beats her, sure, give her a title shot because she deserves it. She's on a really impressive run here in the strawweight division. Marina Rodriguez is the real deal, and I think she's ready. I think she's ready for a title shot.
I think she is
especially
as well.
If she can beat a girl like Lemos. So
absolutely. So yeah, Marina Rodriguez is next in line, so that takes her off the table.
Do you guys feel like they rushed the Zhang Carla fight a bit too soon over the Marina?
Yes, I would agree with that. I mean,
For sure.
I get it. Nobody wants to see that rematch with Rose
No.
and her. So I get it. I understand why they went with Zhang. I mean, she did defeat an undefeated, not unranked Joanna, who was off of like a 2-year skit or was like off a 2-year hiatus. So, I mean, it was a little strange that they just push Zhang up there. I did think Marina Rodriguez is more deserving. But at the same time, it is what it is. Zhang's going to probably sell way more than Marina Rodriguez. And I think, Zhang probably has a way better chance of beating Carla Esparza than Marina Rodriguez. So maybe they want to get the belt away from Esparza as soon as possible.
So do you think they should have done, say, I don't know, Rose, Zhang 3, and then did Carla and Rodriguez for the title fight?
I get why they didn't do Rose Zhang 3 just because Rose is 2-0 on her right now. Like, I think if Zhang wins the belt, then they do Rose Zhang 3 eventually. If Rose goes out and, like, say she beats a Yan Xiaonan or Jessica Andrade, they could do Jessica Andrade, Rose Zhang 3.
And you kind of don't want to throw that. You kind of don't want to throw that trilogy, even though it is 2-0. You kind of don't want to throw that trilogy away when it's not a title fight.
Yeah,
and
sense.
I think that's kind of why they're going this route with Zhang getting the title shot. They kind of expect her to beat Carla Esparza, as we all do, and. I mean, I do. And Carla could win it. She could, take her down and hold her down on the mat for 25 minutes, which would be super entertaining again. But, I think Zhang is probably going to win that fight. And then Rose, she's got to beat a top contender, and then boom, you can do that trilogy for a title fight. And there's an excuse to have that fight again, as every single matchup between those two have been electric. So
absolutely.
We'll see.
So Jan is in a kind of weird spot because Andrade has got a fight scheduled, right?
Does she? I think
she has one at 125 scheduled.
Yeah.
Oh, she does.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
She's fighting.
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I'd have to look it up.
I'm pretty sure she's got one at flyweight, though, yeah.
I think so. I think she's fighting at 125 next. But, I mean, Ant W, shout out to you. He's in the chats. He said Jan versus Rose. And, that makes sense. Jan's right there on the cusp. Yeah. If Marina Rodriguez is getting a title shot next, which also Ant W said Marina should get a shot with a win, don't want to see Rose versus Carla or Zhang again. So, it is what it is.
Well, yeah, I definitely don't want to see Rose versus Carla. God, no. No. God, no. But Rose and Zhang, I would want to see again for a title shot if Zhang can get the belt for sure.
Yeah.
Is that he said he didn't want to see that?
No,
one?
he didn't. He says he doesn't want to see Rose versus Kyla or Zhang again. I think he's talking because that Rose Zhang fight was kind of boring last time. It was
Would you guys rather see Marina get a shot before Rose?
Yes. Yeah, if she beats Lemos, yeah, she needs a shot. She needs a shot, dude. She's on such an impressive win streak, and she's already beaten Jan. And she's already beaten Mackenzie Dern. So it's like, and then she goes out and beats Lemos. I know she's dropped lower in the rankings. But yeah, dude, I mean, she's on a really impressive fight win streak here in the strawweight division. She's the one who deserves it more than Rose, just coming off that loss, coming back. And let's say she does hypothetically win one fight. I would much rather see Marina Rodriguez fight for the belt.
If Rose beats Yang down on, then you give her a title shot. But she needs to beat a
sure,
top
but
contender.
give the shot to Rodriguez first before you give it to Rose coming off that win.
True, and that's probably how it's going to play out because, I mean, Rose is one of those girls that only fights once a year. Anyway, so.
Right, exactly.
Does Marina Weili do numbers if Weili gets the belt? Does that do as big as numbers as, say, Weili Rose?
I think for a co-main, for a pay-per-view, yeah.
I think it'd be a good fight. I think Rose would probably do better numbers. I think she has a much bigger fan base.
I think
I
would agree with you, but as a kind of a purist, I'd rather see the Rodriguez fight. But
Yeah.
I
For
think
sure, yeah.
on their side, the business side, they think of more of what does bigger numbers and obviously sometimes what makes the most sense.
Well, I think would be a big fight, too, for a title fight. Like, let's say Zhang wins it and then Rose beats her. Like, I'd love to see Rose and Marina.
Yeah.
For a title fight, too.
I think that's my most anticipated fight.
Yeah. That'd be a really good striking matchup.
Yeah, and W said, it's not that I don't want to see Rose versus Zhang isn't good, but I've seen it twice recently. I don't like paying for the same fight over and over and over again, unless it's fucking Brandon Moreno Figueiredo. Let's be honest.
And you know what? Maybe Rodriguez didn't get the shot either because back in 2020 she did lose to Carla Esparza via decision. So maybe they just didn't want to do that matchup again because I'm assuming Esparza took her down that whole time and just laid on top of her for 15 minutes. So
her and
she
Jan
does in every fight.
Who you talking about? Esparza
it was Rodriguez versus Esparza.
Yeah,
back in
the
2020.
most disrespected fighter on the UFC roster, Carla Esparza.
Yeah, probably right now.
Probably right now, yeah. It's just like, and dude, again, I'll say it, like I respect it. Like she's a champion, dude. It's so hard to get there, and like in all seriousness, like I do respect that. But it's just as a fan and just watching the sport, it's just like the least entertaining fighter on planet Earth.
Yeah.
She gets the job done, though. She gets it done. She's a champion. She'll be more successful than I could ever be.
Do you feel like, sorry to cut you off, do you feel like this is the kind of the same, what they said about Khabib, how he would just suffocate people for...
No, because at least Khabib was dominating and finishing fights. Carla just kind of lays on people and like doesn't really try to finish the fight. That's kind of the issue that I have. Like Khabib will actually try to go out there and finish. Outside of whatever, short notice fight against Alaquenta, that's one thing. But all the other fights he'll finish, submission.
So you just like to see submission attempts, a lot of ground and pound and stuff.
Yeah, I just want to at least see the fighter attempt to finish the fight, not just try to win outpointing the entire time, unless it's like striking or something like that. But if you're just like implementing, like, you get side control and you just kind of lay there and then you throw like one or two strikes and you just lay there and you just transition. And then
waits for the judge, waits for the ref to say, hey, do something, and then you throw one strike.
And then just throw one strike and then just sit there. I just don't like that style of fighting. I just don't. And like,
it's not entertaining.
She's champ. Like, dude, I respect it, and it's crazy. And she's got a really cool story of how like she won the belt like 10 years ago or 11 years ago, and then won it again. Like that's really hard to do. And she's a super athlete, and it's super impressive. But I'm just not a fan of the style. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Let's get into church coin bets. I did put 1,000 church coin on Dern, and my prop bet was Dern by submission for 200 church coin. Did not work out for me, guys, last night. Even though she got really fucking close a couple times, man. Like some of those like transitions she was doing, she almost had an omoplata, she almost had a Kimura, she almost had an armbar. Like throwing a lot of different submission attempts her way. But credit to Jan for being able to avoid all of those.
Yeah, I had Dern for 220, lost that. And then a prop Dern decision, 300, lost that. And my parlay also busted. I had Dern in that, so bad night.
Yeah,
bad
my
night
parlay also had Dern, so I busted that for 1,000 church coin. Let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. Randy Brown and Francisco Trinaldo, unanimous decision, 29-28 by all three judges for Randy Brown. What round do you think they gave Trinaldo, the second?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, no, it would have been the third, right? They would have given him the third round.
I already can't remember.
The first and second were all Randy Brown, but that third round, I even said, yeah, Trinaldo won that third round because Randy was kind of starting to get a little tired there. What did the judges have it?
Sal actually gave Brown the third round and gave Ronaldo the second.
Huh.
I'm just messing with you. Yeah,
I was like, I just like at this point, you're just trying to get me going, dude, on Sal.
You're my Bill Burr. I gotta get you mad.
Oh God, dude, yeah.
No, I think the judges scored it all correctly.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because it was a pretty easy fight to score. So
yeah,
I'm
Randy
glad
Brown
they
looked
could
good,
get it
dude.
all right.
Trinaldo, 170 is a little, like, he's thick. Don't get me wrong. He's a thick fucking boy at 170. But, I mean, that length really showed out for Randy Brown last night. Yep. He was setting up some of those combinations beautifully. That front kick that he landed a few times was set up beautifully. He could have had a few knees there as well. I mean, he was really trying to – he had a lot of respect for Trinaldo, which you have to. I mean, this man is a fucking savage.
And he's so durable, dude. This guy's almost 45 years old, and he can just take shots like none other. And that's the thing with Randy Brown. That front kick was acting as like a jab because of that reach and length. I mean, we all know Trinaldo's a shorter of stature man, fought majority of his time at lightweight. So moving up to this welterweight division with that length that Brown had, he was really able to implement that and kind of keep that range on Trinaldo. And Trinaldo had to make it a dogfight in that third round. He had to try to get inside, take him down, get him tired, but it was just too little too late. And it was going to be really hard for Trinaldo to finish that fight in the third round. But Randy Brown, dude, looked really, really good those first two rounds. And I love that front kick, man. And the utilization of that is going to be huge for him moving forward because it's so fast and it's just right down the pipe. And those kind of kicks are really, really hard to defend. I thought Trinaldo did as good as he could defending him, but he got caught a couple times. But again, a testament to Francisco Trinaldo's chin, dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, God. It's crazy. The guy's almost 45, and he's still taking front kicks from a savage like Randy Brown.
Absolutely.
So
I will say,
shout out to Trinaldo.
Trinaldo had some pretty amazing leg kicks that actually knocked Brown down a couple times.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, those kicks were really, really good. Yeah, super powerful too. And Francisco Trinaldo is one of those very, very special fighters where, yeah, okay, whatever. Yep, he lost to Randy Brown, but super entertaining fight. It was, kept the cardio, kept the pace. He was in better shape in that third round than Randy Brown was. Third off, yeah, this is now his second loss out of his last 7 fights. But I just want to put some respect on Francisco Trinaldo here. Here's the list, okay? He defeated, before this fight, he defeated Danny Roberts, okay? That was a little earlier, May of this year. He went out and beat Dwight Grant. Okay, he did lose to Muslim Solikov. That was his other loss. But then knocked out Jai Herbert and then beat John McDessie. Mm-hmm. Bro, what? So, yeah, okay.
Some respect on his name.
Trinaldo did lose, but you know what? When he's still this good, when he's still this active, when he still looks this fresh at this age, he's one of those special anomalies where I'm like, okay, if Trinaldo still wants to continue, if he doesn't want to retire, if he wants to take another fight, I'm 110% on board because I've not seen Father Time take that dog out of him. So shout out to Trinaldo, man, special beast.
Dog in him.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. 100% everything you just said. So yeah, shout out to Randy Brown. Like, what do we do with him next? Is he on the cusp of getting the top 15 opponent?
I wouldn't say so yet. I'd like to see him develop a little bit more. Maybe give him one more guy in this welterweight division outside of the top 15. And just for the simple fact that the welterweight division is just so stacked right now, man. I mean, you have Michel Pereira at 15. Like, I want to see Randy Brown take some time, develop his skills, get a little bit better, kind of take that same path that Michel Pereira took,
Yeah.
And kind of just take a few fights.
So he should fight Diego Sanchez next? I'm just joking.
Yeah. In bare knuckle boxing? Yeah, why not?
Shout out to Randy Brown. Big fan over here. But let's move on to church coin picks. So I put 100 church coin on Brown. Did give me a return. He was a heavy favorite, but I did give me a return of 35 church coin.
Yeah, I did. I put 200 church coin on Brown. Got a return of 70 church coin. Wow, powerful. Let's move on to the next fight. Ronnie Barcelos and Trevin Jones. Speaking of 10-8s, two judges had it 30-27. And the last judge had it 30-25. He gave Barcelos 2 10-8 rounds? Wow.
Junichiro Kamijo.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's pretty liberal on the 10-8s, but Barcelos was dominating
all 3 rounds.
And I would definitely say at least one of those rounds was a 10-8. And I'm not even mad about it because it was so dominant and it was so one-sided that, you know what, I'm okay with judges taking the liberty to do a 10-8 every so often. And if this judge felt like there were 2 10-8s, then that's fine because this was an absolute domination. It was a masterclass on Barcelos. I am real high on this guy, man. I'm real high on Barcelos. I'm really excited about his future, dude, because he's looked really, really good, man. I mean, this guy's no joke in this bantamweight division, and I want to see him fight a top 15 guy. I really do. I think he's ready.
Yeah,
and he's 35 too, man. I mean, he's getting older, but yeah,
he's in his prime right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he looked fantastic. Every single time this guy comes out to fight, he looks absolutely incredible. I mean, dude, he's got fucking heavy hands. He flatlines a lot of guys, and this Trevin Jones guy, he got dominated, he got completely outclassed, but I mean, he was fucking tough to be able to take some of those shots that Barcelos was landing, not only on the ground, but in the feet as well. Barcelos has got a lot of knockout power. He's a pretty big guy for, I would say, bantamweight. He's jacked. He's in his prime right now. He's probably on the cusp of getting out of it. This is the man's time. He needs a top 15 opponent.
Yeah, and there's not too often a time where I look at a fighter like Barcelos, who's just coming off a 2-fight losing streak, and I go, you know what? I'd like to see him fight a top 15 guy. But after that masterclass performance and just his potential and capability, he was on a 2-fight losing streak? He was on a 2-fight losing streak.
Oh, never mind then. Yeah, he'll have to work his way up.
Well, yeah, and I don't think let me make this very clear. I do not believe that he will have a top 15 fight. But what I am saying is I wouldn't be mad if they threw him up against maybe 15 or 14. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But they definitely won't. He'll have to fight 1 or 2 more times. But he is getting at that age. He's 35 years old. He's getting to that point now where it's like he's got to go on a win streak here and take on top 15 guys eventually.
Yeah, and if he does get a top 15 guy, you know who's a guy I'd love to see him fight?
Who?
Adrian Yanez.
Ooh, that'd be a good fight.
Absolutely great fight. He just got into the top 15 as well because Jose Aldo did retire from the sport of MMA. So now Adrian Yanez is now a top 15 guy. So maybe Barcelos goes and gets one more victory. He could fight a guy like Jack Shore, Adrian Yanez, Usman, Magomedov, stuff like that. So very excited for his career. Shout out to him. Absolutely masterclass performance last night. So I did put 100 church coin on Barcelos. I was actually thinking he was going to get the knockout. Didn't come, but I still got that return of 47 church coin.
Yeah, I also put, why can't I find it? Did I really put money on Jones?
Yeah, you put 100 church coin on.
That's so stupid. I put 100 church coin on Jones for the win, and he did not get the win.
All right, let's move on to the next fight. Sadiq Yusufs and Don Shainis. Okay, first things first, I want to talk about. This fucking guy should have been nowhere near the octagon with Sadiq Yusufs. I get it. The Sadiq was supposed to fight a couple weeks ago, but you couldn't find him anyone else. You had to fucking take Joe Schmo off the street and throw him in there with him. I get it. This guy's a professional fighter. He's good, but he did not belong in there at all. And it was very apparent immediately. He got stuck in that plum clinch and did nothing to get out. He did fucking nothing. He was eating those knees to the body and then immediately got guillotined. Dude, what was that guy doing in there?
Okay.
What was that guy in there for? Come on. You got a top 15 guy in the fucking world, and you throw in a guy who's making his UFC debut. I get it. Who else? That situation also happened with Thiago Santos. Remember when he fought Kevin Holland? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But Kevin Holland didn't even go out like that. Bro, this was a bad matchup. I don't know what the fucking guy. I guess they just needed a paycheck. He needed a fight, so it is what it is there.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Okay.
Defend this, Mason.
Don Shainis. First off, I understand what you're saying, Tabor, but you cannot hate or troll Don Shainis for taking this fight.
He's got
this
balls.
Is the opportunity of a lifetime. You have absolute confidence in yourself as a mixed martial artist. Dana White calls you up, or Sean Shelby or whatever, and they're like, hey, we got an opportunity for you to fight on short notice in the UFC. One little caveat, you're fighting number 14, Sadiq Yusuf. You're going to take that opportunity. It doesn't matter who you are. If this is what you've worked for your whole life, like this guy wanted to take the opportunity, knowing he was against all odds. So I don't want to throw shade on Don because it was a short notice fight.
No, I'm mainly throwing shade on the UFC matchmakers. Like, you couldn't find anyone else.
Yeah, and that's something I understand. Like, there's got to be a guy who has been an established mixed martial artist in the UFC who would have loved. Maybe that guy was just outside of the top 15 who would have loved the opportunity to take on a top 15
and probably
guy.
would have taken it on short notice.
Yeah. So this one, the shameless Don Shamus, well, it was a shameless performance. I'll give him that.
I don't know about shameless, but I don't. Yeah.
But I respect it because, man, the kahunas, the balls on him, and I'm not gonna hate a guy for really wanting to be in the UFC. Like, that's every
If I was in his position, I would also say yes.
Yeah.
You almost have to. It's like you say no, you're probably not getting in the UFC.
Never. You'll never get in the UFC.
So I mean, you have to take chances like that. I get that, but I mean, that was like taking an amateur fighter and throwing him up against fucking someone who's a top guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that was an amateur level performance by him.
And I agree.
I mean, he literally did nothing. Like, he got stuck in that plum clinch immediately.
Yeah, and then got guillotined right away.
Well, he did fucking nothing to get out. He was just throwing body shots. Like, he was doing this. Like, Devin was just doing in the corner.
Yeah, you got to protect your
He was
chin.
doing nothing, man. He was just throwing the body shots, eating massive knees, and I think that definitely hurt him bad, and then gave up the easiest guillotine of all time.
Bro, those knees were effective, too. Sadiq Yusuf was blowing up his kidneys.
This fight...
The guy's not going to shit right for a week.
That was criminal, dude. That matchup should not have been made.
Internal damage. The guy's got internal bleeding. He's in the hospital still.
It was bad.
I mean, oh my goodness. Those knees were vicious.
This is my favorite fight of the night.
It was bad, dude. Like,
fight.
it was really bad. It was hard to watch, dude, because it was literally like watching an amateur out there with the top guy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the performance he gave. No, and I'm not trying to shit on this guy. Like, I really don't want to, but he should have been fighting someone else. Like, I didn't like this matchup at all, man. And we all knew, like, Sadiq Yusuf came into that fight, what, a minus 900?
Yeah. The books closed at a minus 1,050. That's what I got in my parlay. I'm not fucking shocked, dude. I'm not fucking shocked. Yeah, pretty big line, you could say there. You could say. No, you could definitely say. Big dog in that one.
Which fight was worse, this one or when Mason was hyping up Alex, what's that?
No, it was Gustafsson. Gustafsson looks great. He just goes out there and gets smoked immediately.
Bro,
he's in the best shape of his life.
That preview show, I went on for 10 minutes about Gustafsson. He's back. He's revitalized. He's going to go out there and he's going to prove it to everyone that he's back better than ever. And then he gets starched. Like, doesn't land a strike. And I'm like... Bro, I've never been made to look more of a fool than right after that fight, dude. I was laughing so hard. Like, this boy clowned me. I mean, I'll never come to his defense again. I'll tell you that. Oh, Gus. Oh, Gus. Oh, man. Good times.
Let's go to Church Coin.
Yeah, Church Coin. Yeah.
Shout out to Sadiq Yusuf. Hopefully he gets a fucking good matchup, man, because I get it. It was the easiest paycheck of his entire fucking life, man. It really was. Like, can we please give Sadiq Yusuf, like...
Can you imagine? The guy got paid what? Probably, $65,000, $75,000 for 30 seconds? I mean, what is that?
He's number 12 in the world.
I make 12, my wage in a year's wage in 30 seconds. Are you kidding me? Who's not taking that?
Who's not taking that opportunity? Exactly.
Can we please give him, like, Bryce Mitchell is going to fight, I believe, who's he fighting? Evelev? Musar Evelev in a main event.
Yep.
The winner of that fight can fight Sadiq Yusuf. Or the winner, or Sadiq Yusuf could even fight higher than that. Like, give him Danny Gay, give him fucking Giga Chikadze. Him and Giga Chikadze were actually the original matchup they wanted to make.
Yeah. That would have been a great.
Out.
That was a great fight. That was a great matchup.
Yeah, he even called out Chan Sung Jung. He wants to fight Chan Sung Jung. He wants to fight the Korean Zombie. I think that's a fantastic matchup, and I think that's a warranted matchup. Sadiq Yusuf needs to fight a top guy. Yeah. He's that good.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to church coin picks. So, with all the shit talk done and all that stuff, I did put 100 church coin on Don Shanis. I was like, dude, he's minus 900. I ain't putting no cheddar on him, and he's gonna win. But whatever. I was like, let's just throw 100 church coin away, and it's pretty much what I did.
Let's just throw it away. I got something to burn. Yeah. I went on the other side. I went Yusuf, put 100 church coin on him. I got a return of 11 church coins, so I'm cashing that bad boy. Let's go. And get myself a stick of gum.
Hey, a win's a win.
A win's a win. Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the opening fight of the main card. Mike Davis and Vishilov.
Bro.
Vyacheslav.
Mr. Borschev.
Oh, okay.
Vyacheslav Borschev.
This fight. What?
Look at the judge
complete
scorecard.
Complete domination by Mike Davis. It wasn't even close.
What round did Borschev win? One judge gave him one round.
All three judges actually gave him a round. Wasn't there 2 10-8s?
No. So Douglas Crosby is the only one that gave Borschev a round, and it was round 2.
I didn't see that.
Adelaide Bird gave Mike Davis all 3 rounds, and he gave Mike Davis a first round 10-8. Mike Bell actually gave the first round a 10-8 as well, and then the rest were a 10-9, 10-9.
So what the hell was that one judge seeing in round 2? That's what bro, this, oh my God. These
maybe
judges,
he was
man. These judges.
Just going for maybe misinput. I don't know, because I thought that was totally like 3-0.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was a complete domination by Mike Davis. I mean, the first fight of the fight companion, we were just like, okay, this is a smashing. Like, I don't know what they were watching there, but whatever. As long as Mike Davis got the win, you know. But yeah, it was an absolute masterclass domination by Mike Davis. There's not really too much to say on it outside of he smashed him.
I thought it was kind of a bit disrespectful not to give Mike Davis the second round on Douglas Crosby's part, but hey, win's a win.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Let's just move on to church coin picks because, there's not really much to talk about other than Borschev got dominated. But I did take Borschev. Those Russian-sounding last names have not been working out for me lately, actually. So maybe I got to stop doing that. But I did put 200 church coin on him, and it did not work out for me.
Yeah, I put 52 on Davis. I put 100 on Davis, but I got a return of 52 church coin. Let's go.
Okay, and there was a fight that we did pick that ended up not being moved down to the prelims. That was Santos and Castaneda. Santos did get the victory there, and I put 100 church coin on him. Gave me a return of 180 church coin there.
Nice. My parlay: Dern, Brown, Barcelos, Yusuf, Castina. He lost that fight for me. Put 100 church coin on him, lost that. Put 1,200 on my parlay, also lost that, guys. I now have a grand total of 336 church coin. I'm killing it. Yep. So that's what I have.
Absolutely. All my picks were my parlay. So that was Borschev, Santos, Don, Barcelos, Brown, and Dern. Did not work out for me. I lost 1,000 church coin on that parlay. I ended up losing 2,238 church coin on the night, and my new total is now 2,426. I have over 2,000 more church coin than you, by the way. Just so you know. I don't know if you did.
Thanks, Tabor. I can do math.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Arithmetic's still a real thing.
Yeah, this guy reads books.
I read books. Look at all my books. Let me find a book on my bookshelf. But, guys, I read books.
I read books. Let's move on to MMA news.
No one's going to get that, by the way.
Hey, if they're a real super fan, they will.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's true. That's a deep cut on the church, for sure.
Absolutely. There was a Bellator.
A Minotaur card?
There was a Minotaur card last night. So the Bellator did have a card last night, and Pitbull ended up defending his belt against Adam Boric. Shout out to him. It was a boring performance, apparently. A lot of people were very mad about that. He was getting boozed the whole time in the crowd. Really? But the fight I did want to talk about was AJ McKee beat Spike Carlisle. There was some drama even before this fight started.
Spike didn't make weight.
Well, he missed weight by like 0.5 or 0.2 or something like that. And then the scale... He was watching the scale the whole time and goes, dude, your scale's fucked up. Then he steps off. Then he gets back on. Immediately went down another 0.2. stepped off, threw his underwear on, and then that was like 0.3 or something like that. He got on naked. He was still 0.2 over. Got off, and then all of a sudden the scale said was 0.2.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that
had to give up his purse, man.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, he probably gave up 30% at least. Yeah, that blows. That's not a good time.
He was very upset, man. He goes, dude, this is bullshit. Can we do something? He's like, my hair's wet. Give me 10 minutes to dry my hair off, and I'll come weigh in. And he goes, nope, get off. You missed weight.
Well, and that's so does Bellator not have the same system in place that the UFC has where they're able to weigh back in?
I think they're given an hour. Yeah, the UFC gives them an hour, but I don't know what the Bellator does. That's interesting question.
Yeah, they probably should let them do that. I mean, we should just cut out weight cutting altogether and just have people fight at their natural weight class.
That'd be ideal, but that's not going to happen. Yeah, it is what it is there. It just sucks for Spike. You know, he was very upset. He goes, dude, I'm a fucking professional. I've never missed weight in my entire life. My entire career, I've never missed weight, and this because your scales are fucked up. Yeah. You won't let me dry my hair. Now I'm missing weight.
Well, play devil's advocate. Did anyone else miss weight on that card? Or
that's a good question. I don't know.
If it's just he's the last one to weigh in, or
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Because if no one else is complaining about it,
if your scale was 0.2 over, and then everyone else is cuts that extra 0.2 pounds, sometimes fighters go under. They cut an extra half a pound just so they're safe. For that kind of situation. Yeah. It is what it is, man. It just sucks. But AJ McKee did beat him, ended up submitting him. I forget what round it was.
Maybe this is another thing with the UFC, and this is the last time I talked about this was when the lightweight champion of the world, who was not technically the champion, Charles Oliveira, missed weight by a half pound. What if we are still doing this archaic way of like cutting weight, dehydrating yourself, killing your body, right, to make weight? Why are we using these old archaic scales? Why not go completely digital so there's no like hearsay, there's no nothing. You put up on the Jumbotron, right, or whatever, of the actual scale. You sync it up with the scale down, and then you do it digitally. So come on, dude. If we're talking about computers and stuff and weighing things and measuring things out, why not go digital and make sure it's right there, very precise? Instead, you got this little guy going doop, 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 doop.
And the thing is Bellator does use a digital scale. It was a digital scale that Bellator was using.
Oh, it was a digital scale, and it said 0.02.
When nothing was on it.
Well, then someone needs to actually look at that then if they are using a digital scale, and that is actually the case. There's got to be some sort of proof there. If that's actually the case, then I would be real pissed if I was Carlisle.
I think we should make a song where instead of let's get physical, let's get digital.
Let's get digital. Digital. That's a great idea. Devin, I think you just wrote a multi-million-dollar song. Wow, the fart button, so much disrespect.
Yeah, where's your content? Yeah. And your ideas.
Yeah, bud.
They're too good for this show. Yeah, let's move on to other MMA news.
Alrighty.
Shout out to AJ McKee, I guess. Shout out to him. Did great his lightweight debut, and hopefully he has a good run over there. I'd love to see him in the UFC one day. So let's move on to other MMA news. So we did have a couple signings from the Contender Series, but the very most high-profile one, Beau Nickel, is now 4-0, I believe, and he's inside the UFC. So he got signed to the UFC, absolutely dominated his opponent once again in Contender Series. This is his second Contender Series fight. Now he's signed. He already has a fight signed as well. I forget against who, but in the middleweight division, it's an unranked guy, obviously. But I think they're
it's unranked. You're right, but it's Jamie Pickett.
That's right. So Jamie Pickett and Beau Nickel is
that's
official.
A good matchup.
That's a good fight.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So and a lot of people have a lot of hype on Beau Nickel right now. They're saying this is the next guy. And he even called out Hamzat Chimaev after his victory in the Contender Series, and some people, like even Daniel Cormier, was out there like, "Dude, let's calm down, let's relax, let's get a couple fucking wins under our name before you start calling people like that out."
Yeah, so
at least he's motivated.
A few things, guys. When we talk about, and I'm going to tease it a little bit again here, so I'm very sorry, but when we do the rebrand, one of my goals and one thing I would absolutely love to do is, and if it's just me because it's Tuesday, so these guys might not be able to show up. But when I, eventually get a different job, work mornings, I really would love to go live for those Contender Series fights because I always have to come home and watch them later. But the Contender Series fights are phenomenal. They are so much fun to watch. Sometimes they're better than UFC fight nights. Sometimes they're better than pay-per-views. One example of that is definitely a Beau Nickel here coming in and getting his second win in a very dominating way too. I mean, this guy is the real deal. We all know about his wrestling background and how strong and dominant he was. But now to come into the UFC after winning twice on Dana White's Contender Series and taking on a guy like Jamie Pickett right away, I'm very excited for his future. And I'm telling you right now, I would fast track this guy immediately. Give him Khamzat Chimaev. I want to see. Just for fun. I don't care. Because look, Beau Nickel is an elite athlete. He's an elite wrestler. And if he loses that fight, does he really lose anything? Does he lose any stock? I mean, come on. When I look at a guy like Beau Nickel and I go, okay, he is 3-0 in his MMA professional career. I go, okay, he goes out there, beats Pickett. He's now 4-0. If he were to take on a Khamzat Chimaev and lose, I'd be like, okay, well, the guy's had 4 fights? He's had 4 fights, so what's the big deal? But I want to see if he's really as dominant as wrestler as we all think he is. And if he is, then can you imagine the grappling exchanges between him and Khamzat Chimaev would be bar none. It would be phenomenal. It would be a spectacle to watch.
Well, if I was Khamzat, I wouldn't fucking wrestle with that guy because that guy's Olympic level, like world champion class wrestling. Yes. I mean, a lot of people think he'd out wrestle Khamzat.
That's why I love the matchup. Because that's what Khamzat does. He takes you down and he smashes you.
But he's got great striking as well. I mean, he could definitely outstrike Beau. I have not seen enough striking from Beau. I mean, obviously he's getting better. He's been training a very long time, preparing for this UFC debut. So, I mean, now that it's going to happen, I'd love to see it. You know, I think this guy is going to be a top guy in this division. He's got elite wrestling. It's just, I wonder how good his striking is because eventually he might run into a guy who could stop the takedowns.
Right. And don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted in any capacity. When it comes to striking, Khamzat Chimaev has the clear striking advantage over a guy like Beau Nickel. We have not seen enough from him to even scratch the surface of his capability in regards to how good Khamzat Chimaev is, right? Not just in the welterweight division, but middleweight. So, of course, 100%. The only reason why I like that matchup is stylistically just for the wrestling aspects. That's what intrigues me so much about that matchup. I understand it's probably going to happen a few years in the future, but I'm down for it, and I want to see it one day.
Absolutely would agree with that. Yeah, shout out to Beau Nickel. Very excited for his UFC career. Very excited to see what he could do in this middleweight division. I think he's going to be a top guy. I think he's going to dominate a lot of guys. I mean, who's like the best wrestler in the division right now other than Khamzat? It'd be like, maybe Whitaker.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see that matchup too. Like, there's a lot of great matchups. There's a lot of big fights you can make. Beau Nickel, he's going to be huge.
There's one other person in the Contender Series that we got to talk about. And honestly, like, I kind of wish we were recapping this whole season because there's a lot of fighters we got to talk about. There was one there,
16-year-old kid.
We're going to talk about 17-year-old Raul Rosas Jr. 17 years old.
He's got a decent record, too. I think he's like 8-0.
I don't even know, 17. Just think about, when you were 17, still in high school, still hanging out with your friends, your junior year in high school, you have a crush on some girl, blah, 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 blah. This kid's a professional athlete, and he's beating full-grown men at 17 years old.
With legitimate records, too. Like, that guy he beat on this Contender Series was a legitimate killer, and he dominated him.
It's
the jiu-jitsu's unreal.
It is. And just the pace, the cardio of this kid and the tenacity, it blew me away watching him because I was really curious. I heard about it weeks before that fight happened and I was like, man, and then I looked at the record of this guy that he was fighting and I'm like, dude, this is going to be a rough thing for this 17-year-old, not even an adult. And I'm thinking, a kid, this should almost be illegal, right? And then he goes out there and beats the piss out of a grown man. It's crazy. I don't know. I had to bring it up and I had to put some respect and put this guy's name out there. So I followed this kid weeks before, about a week or two before, I should say, on Instagram when I had first opened my account. And it was actually private. And he had 3,000 followers, right? Right after that fight, check his Instagram now. The kid's got over 100,000 followers on Instagram now.
Awesome.
Kid blew up immediately and deserves every single bit of that. A UFC contract at 17 years old. I can't wait to watch
youngest fighter the UFC's ever signed.
Yeah. Cannot wait to watch this kid. And he will always be the youngest fighter the UFC ever finds. You will never see a kid like Raul again. You'll never find a kid like Rosas Jr. ever again. This is an anomaly. And I hope that we are looking at a guy who has a kid, I should say, a child, who has a very lucrative career in the UFC the same way a John Jones does.
Yeah, that'd be very entertaining. He also said he has a goal to be the youngest UFC champion ever.
That's powerful stuff. Well, I believe it after that performance. Let's see. He's still got a long ways to go, but the fact that he even got the job done. And like, think about this too. Just one more thing on this. Think about being a 17-year-old kid and being on that sort of stage under that immense amount of immense pressure. We have seen grown men, fighters, crumple under that sort of pressure after trying to be in the UFC for all these years. And this kid is 17 years old, takes on all the pressure, all the hype, and he goes out there and gets the job done and does it in really impressive fashion, man. I don't know. I just hats off to him, dude. It's an incredible story.
Yeah, it really is. It's fucking awesome, dude. But let's move on to other MMA news. Did you see that Mark Zuckerberg was in the UFC Apex?
I did see that. You know, he was on Rogan's podcast a couple weeks ago. And, you know, he's really getting into jiu-jitsu. He's big into that. I guess he trains with a few professionals, so he's enjoying it. And, you know, more power to him. Hopefully we can get some fights in the Metaverse. That'd be fun.
I think that's what it was all about. I think the reason why they had him there is that they wanted him to sit front row, and they wanted him to I think they're going to want to do the Metaverse fights.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely going to want to do that soon. Well, think about how cool that would be. And I'm telling you right now, I'm plugged in. I want to get out of the Matrix, but I'm also plugged into the Matrix. And when it comes to virtual reality, imagine getting tickets, right? Virtual tickets to sit ringside, and all you got to do is throw on your VR goggles. Are you kidding me? Yeah, sign me up for that. That's dope. That is something I would experience as a fan at least one time. You know, it probably costs $200 to do it for a VR night, but I don't know. I would try it. I think it's cool, man. I think it's cool, all that stuff they're trying to implement.
Well, shoot, if they keep raising these pay-per-view prices
yeah,
past
might as well
$100,
just do that.
might as well just go digital.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the future, man. I think a lot of people are going to be putting VR headsets on, and all of a sudden, they're sitting cage side.
Yeah.
It'll be very cool to see in the future. But who knows what's going to happen. There was rumors that Zuckerberg, bought out the whole Apex and, didn't want anybody else there.
Yeah, Dana said, no, that was BS.
But then there was no fans there. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe it wasn't. But it is what it is, dude. It's very cool. That reaction that Mark Zuckerberg's wife had was pretty funny, too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It's just the worst expression. She's just petrified, just terrified of the situation.
What the fuck? Yeah, she was shocked. All right, let's move on to other MMA news. So, Marlon Moraes and Shane Burgos, we all know they signed with the PFL, and they ended up fighting each other for the first fight of their new contract on the PFL. The PFL's last fight of the year is going to be a pay-per-view, so it's also going to be the first pay-per-view the PFL has ever done. Main event is Kayla Harris versus, I don't know the other chick's name. They're the fourth time they fought. Yep. She's going to win again to make another million. It's fucking very smart by her. But Marlon Moraes and Shane Burgos as the co-main event is set on that pay-per-view. Banger, dude.
Yeah.
Banger.
That's a great fight. So Moraes is moving up to featherweight, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Okay, because Shane Burgos was a featherweight in the UFC. Yeah, I like the matchup. And not only that, but I mean, Shane Burgos, too. I mean, he's making that money. The UFC kind of screwed up. Dana even admitted it. They screwed up not signing him. And then Marlon, I thought Marlon retired, but now I guess he's just well, I'm out of retirement. I'm going to the PFL.
Well, I mean, think about it, because obviously they're out of the running for the finals. They're out of the running for the championship this year. But, I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs next year. They're both going to be top contenders in both their divisions. So I'm very excited to see what they could do over at PFL.
Yeah, more power to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So our last little bit of MMA news, I'm going to start with a clip. This has to pertain with Logan Paul, a little YouTube boxing. The rumors are Andrew Tate and Logan Paul are in negotiations. I'm going to play this clip to see what Andrew Tate has to say about this whole situation.
Can we play it audio-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's okay.
I've already got it pulled up.
Well, I mean, copyright-wise. I wonder if it's okay with YouTube.
Oh, we'll be fine. It's just them talking.
Yeah, we might not be able to monetize the video, but who cares? Go ahead.
No, we'll be fine. And it's muted, my bad.
Well, guys, that's what we do. We do it live here.
KSI Logan Paul, what the hell's going on?
Oh God.
Yeah,
so KSI did an interview where he said he knew I'd smoke him before his fight. Then he beat up two nobodies, and now he thinks he can fight. And then he said he said my name after the fights, along with his True Geordie was there, who's a cuck who begs for dildos up his ass, by the way.
Facts.
In case you didn't know.
Exposed.
Yeah, but KSI said my name, and then I started getting in conversations about fighting him, and then he came out and said, now I'm too heavy, now I'm too big. He doesn't want to fight me. Look, KSI doesn't want a real fight. And to be honest with you, I'll be completely fair because I'm a professional. I don't get emotional about these things. If you can fill an arena beating up idiots, why fight someone for real? Why? Like, I mean, he can fill he can
make the money too.
He can make a bunch of money and fight nobodies with zero risk. So why take the risk of getting your face smashed up badly and having all of it ended? Right? So that's what he's doing, right? Logan's an agent of the Matrix. Logan sold his soul completely and utterly. He's he's a disingenuous individual. He's a liar. He says anything he's told to say because he's a poster boy for the Matrix. He's literally an agent. That's who Logan is. I dislike Logan on a personal level because he sold his soul. Jake, I have no problem with, really. KSI, I don't even have a problem with. KSI's a bit simple, a bit stupid, but I don't have a problem with the dude. Yeah. Logan's genuinely, I think, a hypocrite, and hypocritical people are always dislikable. Something treacherous about hypocritism. But yeah, whether I fight Logan or not, there's conversations that are currently ongoing in the background. Let's put it that way. But I'm the A side here, right? Nobody gives a shit about Logan. Everyone gives a shit about me. Everyone wants to see me fight. No one gives a shit about him fighting. I'm the A side. I'm the one with the career. I'm the one with the more views. I'm the one with the more fans. I'm the one who's going to fill the stadium, and I'm going to have to be rewarded as such. Not because I need money, but because there's no way I'm going to allow him to walk away with.
Yeah. That's very interesting there. I don't want to go too long without actually commentating, because then I think that's when we get in trouble. But it's a really interesting point that he makes. And I think this is the one case, this is the one scenario where you would have a Paul brother fight. And I actually agree with Andrew Tate here. He would not Andrew Tate, but I agree with Andrew Tate's point that this would be the first time that one of the Paul brothers was not the A side.
Other than maybe the Mayweather fight. Mayweather was probably the A side there. I mean, I would expect how he couldn't be the A side.
Yeah, I guess so, boxing wise, but I mean, like pay-per-view wise or whatever, like I guarantee more kids bought that fight than like Paul. Real boxing fans bought that fight, right? But in this scenario, in this case, I think you would have more of Andrew Tate's people buying that pay-per-view to watch Logan Paul get smoked than Logan Paul fans buying that fight. I think it'd be a healthy mix. Obviously, I think they'd make buco bucks. I mean, just for that one fight, dude, I guarantee both those guys are walking away with $50 million. Oh,
absolutely.
But I do agree with Tate there, where I actually do believe Tate would be the A side in that.
Oh, absolutely. And, hopefully this fight actually happens, and because I would actually love to see it.
So would I. That's actually very intriguing. I don't think it ends well for Logan Paul at all. And I think Tate's right on the money. I think he would smoke him, and he'd make it look easy. But, man, it would be fun.
It would be fun. The KSI thing, like, KSI called out Tate. And now all of a sudden that fight's not even in the works, like, at all.
Yeah,
just clout.
Well, yeah, and like clout. I don't blame KSI. I mean, KSI is not a real boxer. Like, dude, the kid can crack whatever, and like he's a YouTube boxer. And would he smoke me? Yeah, of course, because I don't train. But like when it comes to a guy who is a world champion, 4-time world champion in Andrew Tate, for this guy to try to take him on would be silly. It would be just a clown show. Now, this is an interesting perspective from me. I do classify Jake Paul as a real boxer. Say what you will. I think Jake Paul is a real boxer. I think the guy can crack. I think he's got a lot of skills. I would, even though there is beef between Logan Paul and Andrew Tate, the fight I'd actually rather see, if I'm being honest, is Jake versus Tate. Yeah, I'd rather see Jake versus Tate because I think Jake has a lot more to offer as a boxer, whereas Logan Paul doesn't take boxing really as seriously.
And Jake has a lot more to lose.
Logan would get smoked.
Jake has way more to lose, too.
Yeah.
He's got the undefeated record,
exactly.
And he wants to protect that.
Yeah, and he's like legitimately trying to be like a real boxer and take on, I'm sorry, I don't care if Tyron Woodley was not technically a boxer or whatever. What he did against Tyron, especially in that second fight, is really impressive.
Tyron's not I love Tyron, like, don't be wrong, but I mean, he's not a striker. He's not a boxer.
I know he's not a striker, but
he's a wrestler with an overhand. That's it.
Power.
But I mean, yeah, he has a lot of power, but I mean, he wasn't even trying to fucking throw strikes against Jake, and Jake just completely outclassed him. Yeah. I mean, this is a boxing fight, man. You can't just only throw overhands.
No, I know. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that would be probably the most entertaining YouTube boxing match you could make.
Yeah.
But one, Logan has already come out and said, I'm not giving that guy a platform. Two, it's definitely not going to be on YouTube. I mean, Andrew Tate's the most banned man on the planet.
Right. No, they're definitely not throwing that fight on the YouTube. You can't.
No.
You literally can't.
No, but I do agree. I think Tate would be the A side, and I do think Tate would just completely outclass Logan Paul. And it'd be very entertaining. I don't think this fight ever happens, though. But you know what? They're going to fucking, like, if I had someone go off on me, a rant like that, and I'm Logan Paul, I'm probably signing that fucking dotted line, dude.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that money. I'm trying to get that paycheck. And, dude, like, that's real beef, real animosity. That's going to sell big. They can make a lot of fucking money with that.
For sure.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens.
We will see. I think it'll take a while to develop, though. I think you're probably looking at least a year before this fight even happens.
If it even does.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, Mason.
But it's always fun to talk about.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That is it for today's episode, guys.
Look at that, professionals. We don't even have a preview card to do, and we still hit an hour. So
yeah.
that's what we do.
So make sure you stay tuned next week. We will be previewing the card next week, I believe
it's a great card.
Grasso and Arujo. There's literally 4 fights announced.
Bro, man.
UFC's struggling right now, dude. They're trying to get the end of the year so fucking stacked that they're avoiding these fights right now.
Which, that's fine with me. And you know, you do have a couple actually pretty decent fights on this card, like Rafael Assunção versus Victor Henry. That's a good fight.
Serkinov versus
Metafield. And then, you know, Grasso versus Arujo. It's not a bad card. It's just not the most stacked either, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully they actually have a full-fledged card.
Man, UFC 280, holy hell, I cannot wait for that one.
Very excited for that. 10 fights on the prelims for UFC 280. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, so guys, you know, thank you for showing up as always. Appreciate the fuck out of each and every single one of you guys. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed down below. Make sure you join the memberships. $2.99 a month gives you exclusive emojis, exclusive fonts by your chats, exclusive badges, and a lot of other exclusive content. So make sure you're doing that. We are going to have a lot of stuff to announce very soon. Hopefully that's sooner than later. We will know here soon. We're going to keep you guys updated everywhere. So very excited, very excited. No fight companion next week. Obviously, there's no fights. So what are you guys doing next weekend? So we're gonna have a Saturday off. Like,
man, I don't know. I might go to. I don't know. I might go to a concert. Might go see Elevation Worship. I don't really know.
Who's that?
It's just a worship band. It's a church. It's like Stephen Furtick's like big church, and I guess they're touring. They're going to be in Seattle this weekend, Seattle or Oregon, one of the two. And I'm like, I might go on Saturday because I don't know if I have anything else to do.
Are you going to go see Smile next weekend?
No, it doesn't appeal to me. That I don't like those kind of like that genre of horror where it's like, now you have to figure out why everyone's smiling and everyone dies. I don't know. It doesn't pique my interest. The Barbarian one looks a lot better though, that horror film. I like that. I just subscribed to Shudder too, and I saw a film called Speak No Evil. It was kind of a foreign film, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. The ending was a little lackluster, but the whole entire movie was great. So I enjoyed that.
Sucker for those foreign films, huh?
I love foreign films, man. It's just there's an element of it of just authenticity that you don't get in the States. And this sense of family dynamic that you also don't get here in our movies. It seems a little bit too forced. And there's always an agenda behind it in the States.
What place do you feel like has the best foreign movies? Or sorry, best horror movies?
Best horror?
Yes.
Oh, man. Best horror films, I would probably have to go with either the French films or Korean films, for sure. Yeah, Korean films are French, but they're two different kind of genres of horror, you know, in a big way. Like French horror is more of that artsy, like there's a film called I forget the name of it, but it's this film based on cannibalism, but it's just like very off-putting. Like French horror is very like off-putting and unsettling, but it's not like jump scares or anything like that. Whereas like Korean horror is more of like, you're going to get some wild shit in it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's going to be some wild things in Korean horror. Like I Saw the Devil and stuff like that. Like that movie's wild. But yeah, those are the best two in my opinion, foreign-wise for horror.
All right. What are you going to do for Halloween? Because with that Halloween card, the Halloween weekend is going to be Calvin Cater and Arnold Allen. We're definitely going to be live for that. I don't know if we're going to be live for Grasso Arujo, guys. We'll announce next week whether we will be or not.
We are definitely going live, though, for that October 29th. The Cater Allen, Barbosa, Topuria, Jared Vandera versus Acosta. Yeah, we got to go live for this one. Arlovsky's going to be on it again against Marco Rodrigo de Lima. That's a good card.
That's a really good card and a fantastic main event too.
Yeah.
Fucking great matchup. Probably gonna be dressed up too. That'll be Halloween weekend. So.
Yeah, I gotta try to figure out my costume this year. Yeah, definitely.
What should Mason be?
I don't know. Last year I was dodgeball, but this year I don't know. We'll see.
Last year I was a banana, so maybe I should be like a cantaloupe.
I think you should be Caillou, and Mason should be.
Who's Caillou?
I mean, I could just wear my Sith costume, but I don't like to dress up as in a Star Wars because I go to work in a Star Wars outfit. So in the Sith,
you do it every day already.
Every day, so
just show up from work.
Maybe
and
this time,
as Emperor Palpatine.
maybe this time you be a Jedi since you're always the Sith.
That is true. Maybe problem is I only have a red lightsabers.
Or no, how about we do this? We pick a theme and we all have to dress up as something. Like Tabor's pretty hairy, so maybe he could be Chewbacca. You could be Revan or something. I don't know.
No, let's not do Star Wars. Star Wars is too on the nose for me. We'll do something funny. I'd rather do funny costumes.
Remember Gids last year? Just Michael Myers.
Yeah, Michael Myers just
literally said nothing for 10 minutes, just sat there.
Ken was just dying laughing.
Yeah, Ken thought it was hilarious. And then Zach, Jack to the Tits, was Bane from the Dark Knight trilogy wearing the mask.
Or everyone has to dress up as a UFC fighter and act like them. So Mason will be Nate Diaz and Tabor will be Stipe.
I got to sit like this the whole time.
Stipe, I'm just,
And I'll be
209.
I'll be Francis Ngannou.
That works.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Sounds like it's done. It's set. Costume's set. No, I don't know. I'm probably going to go to the Halloween store and check some shit out. So
I know I'm on the Halloween website right now. Let's close this podcast out, boys.
All righty then.
Hey, what's up? It's Fixed with Red, dude. Long time. We haven't seen you in the chat. He says, hey, it's Walter. Yep, I am still Walter. I am still here. Good to see you, dude. Guy from Gitter, which we are not on Gitter anymore. We don't post there. We probably should.
Yeah, well, we probably should, yeah. All right. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on all our social media accounts, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at The Church of MMA. We also have a TikTok and shorts, guys. Share those shorts and share those stuff. Everything, all of our content on your social media accounts, guys. We really appreciate it.
Do it. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok. I am Mason Knight. This is the Church of MMA podcast. Again, my name's Mason Knight, Tabor Craig, and Devin Davis on the ones and twos. And until next time,
peace.